Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This is the 333rd post on this video blog, and for that, I want to do the Reagan assassination because of the time it happened at. It has a direct connection to this number, and Reagan also has many 33 connections, as do presidents. And also, this is an event from the past, but it directly connects to this president, Barack Hussein Obama, and we will get into that as well. So let's begin with the assassination, the date, the time, the location. It happened on March 30th, 1981 at 2:27 p.m. This was Ronald Reagan's 69th day in office, 6-9. This time, 227, is a number that's so often coded because 22 divided by 7 equals 3.14, the number for pi. And pi has to do with cycles and circles. And the elites who do these ritualistic events, from presidential assassinations to the destruction of buildings to missing flights to dead celebrities, such as Leonard Nimoy or Spock, who just died on 2/27, February 27th. It's part of the code. So, Reagan, March 30th, 1981, 2:27 p.m. He is supposedly shot, and so is his bodyguard, James Brady. The shooter's name is John Hinckley. We're going to break all this down, but let's begin right here with the date. March 30th, 1981. For the day and month, 3 plus 30, March 30th, is a 33. Plus the year, 3 plus 30 plus 81 equals 114, a number having much to do with assassination, just like 44. 114 and 44 and 411 can all be looked at as synonymous numbers. They all have much to do with assassination. Think about how 11 times 4 is 44. The date with the smaller method also has a numerology of 25 and 7. We'll talk about this number 25 in regards to James Brady in a little bit. Also, this time of 2:27 in the afternoon, another way to say that is 33 minutes till 3. 33 till 3. This is post 333. Before becoming the president, he was the 33rd governor of California. The shooting happened at a hotel, Hilton 33. Hilton Company is out of Norway, one of 3 countries with a 33 name in Europe: Norway, Finland, and Belgium. And with regards to 9/11, if you go back and watch news footage from that day, the mainstream media interviewed several witnesses at a Hilton hotel about the attack. Hilton, part of this conspiracy of 33, likely a hotel chain owned by the gang at 33. So with that introduction said, let's watch the actual video footage. This is going to look like something out of Hollywood. You can see just how hoaxalicious it is. This is the Reagan assassination attempt. Notice how this police officer is all draped in orange, Truth Seeker? Probably part of the purposeful costume design. Orange is the only color with a gematria of 33. We see a lot of that in the recent beheading videos of ISIS, another giant hoax.
Give me a patrol car up here, officer! Now! Get it up here! Come on! Get the fuck around! Get it! We need a control! Help for ambulance, quick! Somebody help this!
Truth Seeker, there is somebody who's supposedly down here with a gunshot, and these two guys are chatting with each other. They're not even looking at the man who's right in front of them down on the ground. This is just like all the hoaxes when you pay attention. What people are doing, it just doesn't make sense. Where's the blood?
Unit, get us a marked unit. Get some marked unit so we can get out. Get a patrol car! Let's go!
Notice how the men in the suits seem to be doing more with holding John Hinckley, who's supposedly back here, than this police officer. I mean, shouldn't this guy be coming in with cuffs, some police maneuvers?
Where's his weapon? Oh, your handkerchief. No! Yeah, we got one. Give me that right. Get out of the way! Back up. Keep Let the ambulance in here. Come on, back it up, please.
All right, Truth Seeker, Hoaxalicious. So let's get into the shooter and talk about James Brady. The shooter, we never got to see his face in that video. He was all covered by a gang of men. We never really saw them do anything besides surround him and throw him in the back of a police car. I mean, maybe they put handcuffs on him, but we didn't see that. So anyway, the shooter's name is John Hinckley. And boy, does he have some gematria. John, of course, is a 47 name. The word president with Pythagorean gematria is 47. The name Hinckley is an 84 name. And 84 has much to do with presidential assassinations. Abraham Lincoln from Illinois died on a date with a numerology of 84. In Hinckley's lifetime, he would be awarded with a gun bill in his name in the year 84. James Brady, who was shot by John Hinckley. The current president, Barack Obama, has an August 4th birthday, and the name Obama, with Jewish gematria, sums to 84. On August 4th, 2014, James Brady was murdered. It came out that he was killed on August 4th, 2014, 33 years after this shooting. Again, 33 is a big number here. Reagan was the 33rd governor before becoming president of California. So John Hinckley, a man with coded gematria. James Brady, his life number, he has a life number of 33, also 77. If you did 8 plus 29, that'd be 37, plus 40 would be 77, like Knights of Templar. Washington, D.C. is on the 77th meridian. So James Brady, a man with very coded numerology himself. Again, this is the bodyguard who was shot, supposedly, protecting Reagan, and then lived the rest of his life in a wheelchair, as he's shown here. And honestly, Truth Seeker, what it makes me wonder, is this just a long, ongoing joke? Perhaps James Brady never really was in a wheelchair, except for when he went on media for the photo opportunity, you know? You have to remember, all these people are actors, phonies, liars, paid agents. Ronald Reagan was a Hollywood actor before becoming governor and president. So there's the coding on John Hinckley, James Brady, the numbers we come to expect to see in these hoaxes. Again, James Brady was shot this past August 4th, 2014. August 4th, 2014 was Barack Hussein Obama's 53rd birthday. He'll turn 54 later this year. It was also the 9th of Av this past year, the Jewish holy day of tragedy. And with regards to the number 25, I wanted to point out that James Brady died 25 days short of turning 74, another very special number. He was 25 days of being 74 when he was murdered. And honestly, we can't feel too bad for James Brady. If this is somebody who's just sat in a wheelchair his whole life to play a part, to play a lie on the American public, you know, it's too bad he wasn't shot April 1st, 1981. I'm so sick of all these liars, these thugs, these politicians who just deceive us every day. How disgusting. I don't know how these people sleep. Here's the story. It came out that James Brady was murdered. Those were not the initial details. The day he died, it said he died of natural causes. Then it came out days later he'd been murdered. Amazing. Amazing how the media could report he died of natural causes when he was murdered. But that's just how it goes. And after they put out the announcement that he was murdered, there was no follow-up. I've been watching the media, looking for leads, looking for details, just nothing. Just how they mess with us. They know we're not going to remember anything because they bury us with so many stories each week. A quickening is on us. So looking deeper at Ronald Reagan, there's some really interesting things about this man. Of course, he was the 33rd governor of California. Reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Governator. Arnold Schwarzenegger in simple English gematria sums to 223. The number 322 flipped around. Arnold Schwarzenegger 223. How did the Terminator ever become the governor of the second largest state in the country? As for Reagan, he flipped his political party in the year 62. Remember, the word Mason equals 62. These Freemasons, obsessed with the number 33. Flipped political party in 62, became 33rd governor 5 years later in 67. Another important number, West equals 67. California's out west. During the Reagan presidency, they threw in George H.W. Bush as his last second vice president. He was prior the head of the CIA. Think about that. An actor and the head of CIA in the Oval Office. Who do you think had more clout? The Hollywood actor or the man working in the CIA? And of course, George H.W. Bush would become president after Reagan. As for Reagan, let's keep moving on. He died at the age of 93 on a very curious date. The number 93 is associated with the occult religion Thelema. The number 93 represents do what thou wilt and love. The word Thelema in simple English gematria sums to 64, just like the name Ronald. And the name Reagan is the flip of that. The name Reagan sums to 46. So Ronald Reagan is 6446, which sums to 110. Excuse me. Just like the word president. Ronald Reagan for president. I'm telling you, Truth Seeker, none of this stuff is a coincidence. People are picked by their names, their life numbers for their positions. This is going on. Reagan was born February 6th. Think of 2-6. That's a lot like 26, the God number. 1911. And what do you see in that year? That's a date with numerology of 19 and 20. He died on June 5th, 2004 at the age of 93. Less than 4 months after turning 93. That's a date with a numerology of 15 and 17. The word kill with Pythagorean gematria sums to 17. Also, what I want to point out is June 5th is the 156th day of the year. You could make an argument here that he died in 2004, which was a leap year, so technically it was the 157th day of the year. But still, I don't think this is an accident. June 5th is typically the 156th day of the year. This is another day with important numerology connections. The word God with English gematria, that's where you multiply times 6. God with simple English gematria equals 26. Times 6, it equals 156. This is what God looks like with simple English gematria. Or with English gematria. If you write out the word 33 and sum it with simple English gematria, it also sums to 156. The film Truman Show about playing God was released June 5th, the 156th day of the year. The main character's name is Truman Burbank. The name Truman Burbank equals 156. And that movie is absolutely about playing God. And I'm telling you, the people who run this world, the Zionist Jews, the Freemasons, I guarantee you they think of themselves as gods. There's no doubt about it. And for good reason. You know, if I was them doing what they do, I might think of myself as God too, because look at what they're doing. They're controlling humanity. They have more control over our lives than we have over our own lives. I know a lot of people would deny that, but if you really think about it, there's no doubt about it, it's true. They've given you your education. They've given you your lifestyle. They've created the career you probably have. You are living in their world and their sandbox. You are celebrating their celebrities. For years growing up, it seems like you hear less of this now, probably because time's passed, but it used to just drive me nuts, especially during the Bush years, listening to people talk about what a great president Ronald Reagan was, the greatest president we ever had. You just wonder where these sheep come from. I mean, what did Ronald Reagan ever do? Trickle down economics? We'll get into that. What a joke. You know how Reagan's presidency started? It started on the day that a hoax ended. And it was such a setup because if you ask most people who the worst president is, they'll say Jimmy Carter. And if you ask these same people who the best one is, they'll say Ronald Reagan. And why is this? A lot of it comes from the Iranian hostage crisis. The Iranian hostage crisis lasted for 444 days. Jimmy Carter's from Georgia, the fourth state with a 44 gematria. He was the man for this part, and it ended on Reagan's first day in office. Think about that. The Hollywood movie star, the 33rd governor, comes in, and on the first day, he ends in a hostage crisis that the former president couldn't end supposedly for 444 days before it. But somehow Ronald Reagan, fresh into the office, just comes in and nails it. It's a joke, Truth Seeker. It's a joke. All these people are actors. Jimmy Carter's still out there, writing books, making political points, telling people to vote for Democrats, talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Just tune these people out. They're all paid agents, actors, liars. It's a big show. So here's trickle-down economics. This is a word I really hate. For years, I've had to listen to idiots talk about it as if it was some good thing that Reagan did for us. You know, it's just... But look at the gematria of trickle-down, Truth Seeker. Trickle, a 33 word. What else? Trickle down. If you want to use the K exception, this word becomes 62, like Mason, like the year Reagan became a Republican. Trickle down. Trickle down. Numbers we're seeing coded a lot. John Boehner, 33 days before Election Day, said that for 53 of the last 60 years, the U.S. government's been irresponsible. Just making up stuff by the numbers. Throwing their numbers out there. So, Ronald Reagan, Truth Seeker. A lot of hoaxes on this guy. Presidential assassination. Ending the Iranian hostage crisis. Remember, Iran is just a fake boogeyman. Might as well be the 51st state. You know? The fake boogeyman state. It in North Korea. So let's just listen to Ronald Reagan too. Let's listen to him tell us government is the problem on his first day in office.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people.
That was the central idea that won Reagan the presidency, a warning he had sounded consistently for years. You can hear it here in the speech that launched his political career.
This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
This was Ronald Reagan's debut as the great communicator, the nationally televised speech.
This date has a numerology of 101, True Seeker. What do you think of when I say 101? Introductory.
For Barry Goldwater that put him on the political map back in 1964. In fact, it was a speech he had been perfecting for a good...
All right, so let's just close by looking at the 8 presidents to die in office. Ronald Reagan was not one of them, but if you believe the hoax, he was nearly one of them. So he was shot in late March. In history, William Henry Harrison, the first president to die in office, supposedly became sick March 26th and died April 4th, 4-4. Remember, the word kill equals 44. Zachary Taylor was the next president to die in office. His reason for dying is still unknown to this day. Some people speculate that he ate, tainted cucumbers or fruit or vegetables or spoiled milk. I suspect he was poisoned with arsenic. Maybe it was in his cucumbers. Abraham Lincoln, again, died on a date with a numerology of 84. Shot April 14th, died early April 15th. Very similar to the story of the Titanic, began to sink April 14th, fully submerged April 15th. Garfield, the fourth president to die in office, died over a long span of time. Shot in July, died September 19th. William McKinley, fifth president to die in office. Warren G. Harding, sixth, died on August 2nd, 82. FDR, seventh. Eighth, JFK. So the next president to die in office will be the ninth. And if you look through these numbers, almost all of them tie to the presidency of Barack Hussein Obama, who, like Reagan, like Lincoln, was from Illinois or has connections to Illinois. And Obama has all the same connections in terms of numerology that we just talked about with Reagan. In his own biography, he states that he lived in the United States consecutively from the years 71 to 2004. That's when he took office in Illinois. That's a span of 33 years. He says he's from the state Hawaii. That's the 50th and final state. Only 3 states have a gematria of 33. The first, Delaware, the 50th and final, Hawaii, and the 6th, Massachusetts. So, before it's all said and done, Truth Seeker, I suspect Barack Hussein Obama's name will be on this post I have on my blog. The 9th president to die in office. That's why we're studying this. That's why we're breaking down the history. That's why we're looking at all these hoaxes. Because they're done by the numbers. It's been that way ever since the nation began. Barack Hussein Obama's the 44th president. The first one to ever die in office was William Henry Harrison, who died on April 4th, 4-4. He was the first Whig. Whig equals 47. Republican with Pythagorean gematria equals 47. The Whig Party became Republican, and the word president equals 47. If you're sitting somewhere going, but Barack Hussein Obama's a Democrat, I'm just laughing. Yeah, that might be his title. But there's nothing he's done that separated him from a Republican. I mean, he's been a complete extension of the Bush administration. And if you're going, well, what about Barack Obamacare? What I'm saying to you is, what about Bush's expensive drug plan for the elderly that costs even more than Obama's health care? And when you think about it, it's even worse. Because what are we doing? Spending all this money on elderly people who are dying and trying to stay alive by taking pills that cost $400 per pop? That's true. There are people taking medication that costs $400 every time they swallow it every day, and these people are old and dying and don't need to be alive. I'm sorry, we don't need 80-some-year-olds hanging on because they take $400 pills every day that's subsidized by the taxpayer. Hello, wake up. I'm not a fan of Obamacare, but I'd rather have that than subsidizing elderly drugs that cost ridiculous amounts. And with regards to drugs, let's also make one last point about Reagan. What is his legacy? The drug war? There's more of him talking about trickle-down economics and the drug war than anything else. Two horrible things. And only a nation of idiots, which the United States of America is, would ever say that such a person was a great president. All right, I'm signing off. Until next time.